What's up, dude?
You haven't meowed me in weeks.
It's been a long time, but when you've been together as long as we have, you're lucky to get meowed on a monthly or even weekly basis, you know?
You couldn't have put it better, Jeff. I love taking away life lessons from everything you've done while I'm still like a almost 40-year-old man child who eats cereal for dinner once in a while.
uh, to be fair, yeah, no, I'm not even gonna say that. Yeah, never mind.
We probably had cereal at the same time a couple of times this year due to the
Yeah,
time difference.
that's a good
Um,
point.
how the F have you been?
Ooh, I've been great. I've been great. Yeah, no, honestly, like, we'll get to this later, but it does help when your team goes on a massive, crazy, unprecedented winning streak. Yeah, I've been awesome. Oh man,
I
that was an excellent mute. Schuyler
Oh
just
yeah.
coughing up a lung. I could just see him silently like, what? Oh
Well, I
man.
knew it was going to happen. I chose to time that vape hit to the beginning of the podcast. So I figured, why not spare all of our little podlings from having to hear my explosive cough sound?
It's just emphysema brothers.
It's
That's our new
it's
podcast.
emphasis on the emphasis in emphysema.
How have you been, my friend?
I've been honest. All right, so we haven't done a pod in a couple of weeks, right? And
A while,
yes,
yeah.
we've both been busy for different reasons. You have you traveled a bit, Jeff? Am I imagining that maybe
I
towards the beginning of this period?
yeah, I think a little bit a while back. Yeah.
A little bit of travel. Have you had any? I mean, we're gonna get to it later on. Have you done any shows? Any Jeff Vitcom comedy
Yeah.
joints?
We've been gigging around. Actually, I just had one on Tuesday with a new group of folks. That was a lot of fun. Some really talented people. We
Let's
don't
just
really
do
have a
it.
name yet. We said that we went on stage right before we went on stage. Someone had said the name Senor Ralph for some reason backstage. We're like, all right, that's the name. But then the girl that got on stage and introduced, um, she for some reason said, "Hi everyone. The name of our group is There's Hummus Inside Me." And we were like, "Is it?" um, but yeah,
Doesn't it feel like
uh,
naming improv groups is like its own profession, even like compared to other people who name shit?
it's weird because it's like even improv groups that I've seen that I think are like hilarious. They often it's like, okay, what is the worst joke you've ever come up with? That's your improv group name. You know what I mean? It's like the Pittsburgh Squealers. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, can't say that's not a pun, but oh fuck
Wait, it has to be a pun. I can't just say we're done talking about Mason Greenwood like as the improv group name.
those are I don't know. I like some of them. Some of them are actually pretty funny. There's a group called Party Boat. I think that's a great name.
All right, how about this? Next 30 seconds, just free association. What's an improv group name? If you and I were going to start one
Funny you say that because the name of the theater that I perform in is the Free Association. I think that's a great name for an improv school slash theater, right?
that charges money, people are looking at it and they're going, oh, it's a free association
Yeah,
theater. Let's go there and associate for free.
that's a good point. More like the paid association, am I right?
So that's most associations.
Hi. uh,
What about like I think that like the more inane the name as an improv group, the funnier I find it. Like I'm just looking around the room, laptop trackpad. I think really funny improv group
that's a
name.
very good one. Like I like the lect I like there's one group called Nana. Like that one's pretty solid. Like it's weird. Every improv group that I've been in, we've always chosen a temporary name and then just like gotten used to it and never changed it. Like even some where I'm like empirically that's not a good name. Like I was in an improv group in Hong Kong where the zip code is 852 or zip area code rather. You have hose and area codes, not in zip codes.
Well,
And
speak for yourself.
yeah, that would have really fucked up the song. They're like 32724 -9731. That's the exact house of a hoe named Bun Bun. I don't know. That's her.
Luda, and then like
Yeah.
Ludacris is just like trying to do something with that.
Yeah. Like, nothing works with 5 numbers.
You see him on like the set of Fast and Furious 14, and he's like, honestly, man, I'm an actor now. Like I don't like
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
rap about area codes, zip codes. It's a lot of numbers to remember.
True. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, and
Yeah.
the name was 852 Crew, and like
That's so unfunny. That's so
everyone in the
unfunny.
crew was like, "We'll change this up, right?" And then we never did.
People are denying that they're in the crew. Like,
Yeah.
no, 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 man, they're a different improv group from me.
Yeah.
So
Need for Speak
are you doing any shows anytime soon? Let's get the plug in the upfront before the
boom.
listeners stop listening.
Yeah, we have a show on March 22nd at the Glitch. Down that's where you saw a show when you were in town last time.
I did.
A nice cozy venue. Believe it's a free show, so if you can
It's
make it.
it's the size of like a college quad, like shared communal living room space,
Yeah,
and it's
I was
probably
gonna say
like 20
it is
chairs.
smaller than the living room that I'm in right now, I think. But
It's
yeah,
because
that'll be
like
fun.
government money paying for that living room.
Yeah, true. Thank you. Keep paying your
Thanks,
taxes, everyone.
thanks, Sleepy Joe, for putting Jeff up in a nice place.
Dude, I got Dark Brandon in this bitch. No, I like it. And then on
Oh,
April
wait.
6th, there is a show that I will not be a part of, but the rest of the group will be there.
I want to start an improv group with all advertising people and call it Dark Branding.
Ooh. Yeah. And then whenever, like, when you guys come out, everyone could
It's
chant,
so
like,
bad.
let's go branding.
It's so bad that I like it. Like I feel like that's the is it like so bad that people are like, I want to see if these people are just pathetic, and then they come to the improv show and we crush.
I love the idea of like basing your group on just like a random sort of demographic type thing like that. Like I have an idea of like having an improv group called straight white male comedians, and then like at the beginning of the group we invite any other straight white man who wants to, whether they have improv experience or not, to join us on stage and be a part of the show.
It's like one of those concerts where like 8,000 guitarists get together to play the Foo Fighters Everlong.
Yeah. No, it's like that except worse.
Or is it Bang Bang Camaro? The band has like dozens of people. Whenever they go to like a new city, they have friends that are musicians there that just join the
Just
band for the
join
day.
in. That's kind of neat, actually. Like it's almost like Grateful Dead-esque, but even more, where it's like like you got to see him in Cincinnati. That like trombone player is just something. Like
All right, well, this has been fun.
yeah,
We're Jeff and I are really hyped. I mean, oh wait, what have I been doing? You ask.
yeah. What have you been doing, man?
I've been
Besides
honestly, I've been
plugging my
working,
shows for me.
been working on some dark branding in
Mm,
most of my time. Also, Jeff, you might notice,
Mike.
as opposed to our last episode, I just might be a little bit happier despite the Manchester United results.
I was gonna
Uh,
say.
I've been dating a hot little number
Oh,
who does not live in California. She knows who she is. She knows what her ludicrous area code zip code is.
you're being
Uh,
so specific there. Dating someone in one of the 49
yeah,
states, maybe, or
she
other
she
186 countries.
she's
Up
contiguous.
contiguous. Ooh, ruling out Alaska. A lot of territory there. Not
No
a lot of people.
Hawaii, no Hawaii, no Alaska. She
Would you have ever dated someone from Alaska or Hawaii? Seems
no,
risky.
that's long distance, man. That's pretty far.
They don't have to be currently living there. Okay. I get your point.
I'm trying to think of this is the saying that I've been working on. Contiguous, not ambiguous.
Oh.
And it means that I know who she is and I know roughly where she is, and it's not Alaska or Hawaii. And I think
You're
that's
like,
like I'm gonna make a
I'm an
t-shirt.
interstate away, no matter what, huh?
It's a long drive, that's all I'll say. Uh she's pretty cool. Trying to convert her into being a football fan right away, meeting immediate resistance. So pretty sure she won't hear this.
You know what though? I think that might be a better start. Like, would you rather have someone who's not a football fan, but you could maybe get them to warm up to it over the course of time together?
Hmm.
Or would you rather like
Liverpool
everything is the
fan.
same, but it's a Liverpool fan or a City fan or something
Oh
like that?
man, that's. I'll be. I think I know the answer, and I think it is the former because
Yeah.
if they're like a Liverpool fan or a City fan, it feels like there's just something so core to them that just doesn't get anything.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, wow.
Period.
That's interesting. I mean, I dated the hated rival, which is also your team. I dated a Yankees fan in college, and as like an Orioles fan who was like crushed by the Jeffrey Merritt incident as a kid, it was like I don't know, in a weird way, it was kind of like some nice spice to that relationship because we could like talk shit about it, and then it's like, oh well, my team beat your team, so I don't know. Like we'd have like little friendly wagers going and stuff. It was
I,
kind of worked.
I want to make a deep baseball joke, but I feel like it will fall flat
Mm.
across the board. Do you remember when the Yankees had that controversy where Brett Gardner was banging his bat on the roof of the dugout, and they thought it was to communicate to the runners whether the pitcher was going to throw a fastball or a breaking ball? So like a form of like not cheating, but like hacking the game in a way that not everyone else is doing. And then a meme came out after that that just said "Let Brett bang." And I
Yeah,
want to know if your ex-girlfriend, years before this happened with the Yankees, would say "Let Jeff bang," right before, right before injury
we
time.
we did have sex, if that was the question. Yes.
Wow. All right. I think we should cancel the football agenda. What was it like? Tell us
Yeah.
everything. Where? How? Can you draw some stick figures?
Yeah, I have a lot of metaphors, and most of them are pretty gross and involve noises. Just kidding.
Most of them involve Holland.
Yeah. No,
Most
yeah,
of them
having
involve Salah.
having sex is fun. I'll say that.
Is it like
That's a
scoring
real
a
good time.
goal?
Yeah, it's like a warm apple pie, as a young Eugene Levy once said.
If it's like scoring a goal, Jeff, you should know a lot about it in the last month, and I should be struggling to recollect what it's like for my team.
Yeah, I will say it has been pretty damn fun watching all those goals happen over the last month. Especially this sort of dates, and I'm getting ahead of us as we always do here, but this dates when our last podcast episode was because I think the big controversy we were discussing at the time was, will Arsenal ever score another goal without a proper striker? And it did seem at the time we were sort of doing the exact opposite of what we are now. We're just creating loads and loads and loads of chances and not sticking them in. And now it seems to have completely reversed course, and that has been great. I feel very happy for Kai Havertz that he seems to have like settled in. Although there's a little part of me that's like, I don't know. It's like when you're scoring one out of the six goals, when you're just completely demolishing a team, like I almost don't know how to value that. Like there's a little part of me that is still a Kai skeptic, but
And yeah, he could be just benefiting from the fact that the team is playing so well as a whole, right? That's what
right,
you're thinking. And if Havertz really isn't the answer for you guys, a good run of form would actually help you offload him in the summer, get some of that money back, and get someone else that
right.
is a part that you could really use somewhere, like another midfielder to rotate or something.
Right. And interestingly, there has been a lot of transfer gossip already saying like the Osimhen transfer gossip is heating up. So like it looks like that's probably where a big chunk of the transfer budget is going to be spent in the summer,
So
which is
maybe
probably
this
where it's most needed.
could there be a headline that's like O representing Ozyman and then a dash and then Kai? Oh Kai, like just
There could be a headline like that. There certainly could.
it's not good enough for what was the place we said we could write for? Was
Kyo,
it the New York Post that you and I could write headlines for?
that was you, man. No, I do think that was like one of your worst puns ever there. That could be an improv team name. That was so bad.
Oh Kai Havertz.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, any Kai Havertz fans in the house
I
here?
think it's the Havertzes and the Havertz nuts.
Mm. I'll give you that.
All right, but so you were wondering if you'd ever score a goal. Let's just go to your most recent match, which you did score a goal in.
But
I would
just
love
the
you.
one.
I want you to read this headline that I wrote for you.
Arsenal uses Porto Potty. Um, they were a sort of, it was a difficult set of games, I have to say. They're just, they're bastards to play against. They're so difficult. And in a way, I'm just happy that we made it through because I think sometimes if you can make it to the other side of a game like that, then I think it does sort of help the mental toughness of the team. And I don't know. I think that that's probably when you're in the middle of that sort of high flying run where I think there was a point where we were like 33 goals to 3. Now we are now top of the league because of goal difference, and we were not even close to goal difference being ahead of Liverpool or City recently. And when you look at how close the race is this year, would it be that surprising if goal difference decided it, between the three teams? Maybe.
It wouldn't actually. We don't actually have a topic here for the fact that it's a three-team title race right now.
Yeah.
Which, Jeff, I don't know if you can. I can't remember there really being one. Like I remember there being a two-team title race, and you'd have like a third place team that's like 10 points behind them. That like you think maybe, but
Right.
no. But like this is three teams that are all
Dead
really
heat.
playing really well, separated by a point at most, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting one. I don't remember when the last time we had a three-team race was. It'd be interesting to look back. It feels like there's a lot of years lately, like even last year felt like a bit of a novelty to have a two-team race because
Right.
we sort of got
City.
used to it just being a one-team race, which is not much of a race at all, more of a time trial. Um,
Do you think that that has to do with the fact that like City's been so dominant and this year they're being very good, but
yeah,
have they been an A plus this year?
it's a good question. I mean, there are times where they were so dominant in the past couple years where you almost wondered like is this even a little bit fortunate for them? Like, as good as they are they this good, or are they also having the ball bounce their way occasionally? And I think there's a big element of chance in this game. So maybe I still think they're a really, really good team. And I think Liverpool, to me, they're the one that is still so surprising because it felt like they were in the same boat as United last year to me, where it was like, all right,
The end of their
clearly some
cycle.
pieces that are working, but like structural problems here.
Hmm.
And they seem to be winning in spite of that. So
All right, so you asked a moment ago, like, would it be surprising if the title is decided by goal difference? So I looked at the projections for who they were gambling would win the league based on the results of this past weekend's Manchester City Liverpool match, which we should also comment on.
sure,
Big match in that title race. But like, if City had won, City had a 40% chance of winning the title. If Liverpool had won, Liverpool had a 40% chance of winning the title, and Arsenal only had like 8 or 9% chance in either of those results because, of course, one of those teams would now be like a whole win ahead
right,
of the pack. And but then the result for like if Liverpool tie City, which is exactly what ended up happening, what happens? They still didn't give Arsenal even a plurality
right.
of the
Yeah, we
chance
still
to
weren't the favorite, even
it
if it
was
was
a
close.
yeah, it was a 19% chance for Arsenal to win the title, even though you were now in the league lead. They're like, yeah, but
Well,
daddy
I
and mommy
wondered
are
like
coming home soon.
it would be interesting to hear them back up like how they got to that number because there's a part of me that's like, well, obviously we're getting to the point of the season where you have to start looking at the actual run of games left. And, as we will discuss at some point soon, like we are going to have to go to the Etihad, and that is not an easy game, as I can tell you from watching it in person there last year. So that's going to be a difficult one. We have quite a few pretty difficult games left on the calendar, but then again, so do they. So when I look at it, at least I'm not crunching the numbers, but just my gut feeling of like looking at the last games. I don't know, and I also think if of between City and us. I think we're more likely to go out in this next round of the Champions League, which gives us a little bit more energy to focus on the league. So
Right.
I don't know. I do feel a little bit disrespected by it. I wonder how much of that is just like a we don't think Arsenal is as good as these teams.
I think it just comes down to who's won a title in the last decade. I think they're just leaning on that knowledge, which is everyone knows that City's won a bunch, so they're assuming City has the ability to pull up ahead again. And then
Yeah.
everyone else is giving Liverpool the benefit of the doubt because Jurgen Klopp retiring means let's just act like this is the last year football is going to be played and that Liverpool could magically win because of that emotional reason. And everyone looks at last year's Arsenal and was like, you guys were very good, but like not quite there yet in the end. And so they're kind of writing you off, assuming the same thing would only happen. But I'm seeing a frustratingly more convincing Arsenal this year than last year. Last year there was a lot more results that were like your 2-1s, your 3-2s, your last minute wins, and there have been a few of those this year, but it felt like that was like a third of the results last year were like Arsenal was really fortunate and got the
Yeah.
win. And that kept happening for a long enough time that it forced Arsenal into the conversation for the league. This
Right.
year, it's like, and we'll get to it in a minute, it's like a lot of slappings. It's a lot of like showing how functional the team is against anybody but maybe the best five teams in the planet, and then you still have a good chance of getting a result.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know, man.
when
I'd feel
when we
good.
had that lead last year, not only did we develop that lead by scoring lots of goals seemingly in the 97th minute of games to win, but we could only seemingly do it with about 12 of our players. You know what I mean? Like there was enough room for like one guy to be out, but that was it. And this year, I mean, like a lot of the guys that seem to be linchpins in the past have been out. Like we haven't seen Party really all year. He used to be the most important player on this team this time last year. We haven't, and so there's a lot of I don't know. It just seems like it's a team that has a bit more depth and a bit more resilience, and we have been missing pieces at time, like key pieces. Jesus has missed a lot of time this year. Um, like Tomayasu, who was like really key for us last year. He's also so I I see it as a team where like last year. I mean, really, what happened was we made a deep Europa League run. We had two huge injuries at the end there
And
that
Thursday
decimated our
nights.
back line. Yeah,
But the
exactly.
yeah.
And that was the end of our title run. Even at that point, we were I want to say like 9 points ahead, which is insane. But we just couldn't. We were no longer a good team, so it didn't matter that we had a 9 point lead. Whereas like this team, I mean, and they've done it over the past month. Like you actually trust. Like I think that they're a good enough team where even with a slight deficit, you don't count them out of clawing points back against. So I don't know. I think we're definitely a better team this year than we were last year. Whether that's good enough to win the league, we'll see.
I'm gonna ask you one more Arsenal question before we talk about football and sadness. So, good friend of the pod, James Ruggieri, who you remember from one of our last Arsenal guests. I know there have been
Indeed,
40 or 50 of them, but
a lot of fans, a lot of cool people.
so he made a claim a few weekends ago, which I'm gonna nail to the wall right here
Mm.
publicly. He said he could make an argument that Arsenal is the second best team on the planet.
That's interesting because there's a pretty good argument that the first best is Manchester City. So,
Yep. I mean,
um,
but then there are arguments for your Real Madrid's. What Bayer Leverkusen has done in Germany is insane. They're gonna win the Premier League or they're gonna win the Bundesliga.
they're so
Uh,
good that they're going to win the Premier League. Yeah.
all right, listen, I'm at least bringing other countries' football into this podcast. I'm not just hiding behind my Arsenal fan TV digest.
Mm.
I'm kidding. You're not doing
I'm
it.
tired, Robbie.
But like Leverkusen is up by like 10 points on Bayern Munich and like there's only so many games left and they've allowed like several goals this season. Like there's an
Yeah.
argument Bayer Leverkusen on form is the best team. Oh, they haven't lost. They're undefeated. They might do an Invincibles this year
Yeah. That is
against Bayern
pretty
Munich.
insane. That is pretty insane. I mean, Bayern Munich to me, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about them and like reverse jinx it because we're probably going to draw them tomorrow.
You think that they're
This,
Spurs now?
You know what they are? They strike me as the German national team now, where it's like clearly incredible. You know what I mean? Like on any sort of a real on paper analysis of them, you have to say like great. But then I don't know. It's like, do you really trust them to win stuff,
Well,
which
because
is what they're supposed to do?
is the German national team winning stuff?
Exactly. No, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like kind of no.
But wouldn't you think that the addition of Harold Kainrich
Yeah.
and Eric Dyer Rick?
Well, Dyer is funny to me because I thought he was washed years ago. Even like, what is he doing there? I honestly didn't realize he was on there for like the first like month or two of the season, and I kind of thought it was like a meme that someone had even like brought him into the conversation of like, oh, like look how Spursy they are now. And I was like, oh shit, he's actually okay.
I honestly bet it was they needed some defensive help in the back the same way we needed to sign Johnny Evans, but they're like slightly like less cheap about it, and that like it's a big move to be like, hey Harry Kane,
Yeah,
Your German is bad.
yeah,
So
schlecht.
we have £5 million or 7 million euros, whatever. We will spend it on one of your buddies who's almost out of contract, and we will bring them here, and they'll have a chance to win the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. And the funniest part is that Harry Kane went to Germany just to win silverware. They've been knocked out of the cup, and now they're 10 points back in the league, and he
Yeah,
might still not win
it, it's
silverware.
it's pretty funny, especially because it's not like he's not performing. I mean, it looks like he's going to win the Golden Boot, which, by the way, is a cannon-shaped trophy in the Bundesliga. So that's pretty funny.
Very gunnery.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I've seen that meme going around that if Harry Kane decides he wants some silverware and he goes to play for Celtic after this, then Hibs are going to win the Scottish League. So, you can't argue against that. I don't know. I also wouldn't count them out either. You know, like I would not that I've watched 20 minutes of Bundesliga football, but like when a team makes such a meteoric rise the way that Leverkusen has this year, it seems it reminds me of Arsenal's meteoric rise last year that just wasn't, you can't I don't know, we
Are
didn't
they in Europe? They might not be in Europe, which might be instantly taken off some. Like you want
yeah,
in that position to be able to play the best 11 players every fucking game, right? Like that's how you get the most out of that squad. No injuries and fewer matches allow you to really like just put all your weight behind the league. And then maybe Xabi Alonso is a really good manager. That's terrifying, but like maybe he is. And they have, was it Jeremy Frimpong as right back, and apparently he's just like uh another Alonzo Davies. Alonzo Davies? Is it Alonzo Davies?
uh so so
Alfonso Davies.
so Leverkusen are playing right now and look to be going through against Karabag FK in the Europa League. So they will have some
Oh.
European fixtures.
Okay, but then there's even winning those matches.
Yeah. I mean, granted it's Karabag FK, whoever they are, but
Well, I think we've lost to them in the Europa League last year or something.
did you? Oh wow.
I think it was embarrassing. But
What
so
country is that?
so here's the thing that's going to happen though, because the Bundesliga has so much less money coming flowing into it.
Yeah.
So let's say Leverkusen wins the league, Bayern is going to stroll on over with their like Sizzler buffet tray
Yeah.
and go, we're gonna have a little frimpong. I think we'll have this guy. You mind if we pay just like a little bit less than your asking price? Thanks. And like they're
Yeah.
gonna do that, and then if they don't, the Premier League and your PSGs, like they're gonna do to Leverkusen what so many clubs did to Monaco when Monaco had that really deep Champions League. Did they win the Champions League or they lost in the final? I think
Mm.
years ago. But like that was the team that had I think Mbappe had been on that team. Like lots of play. Like
Oh, right, right, right.
what's his face? The dude who was the
Thomas
CDM for Liverpool
Lamar.
for a while. Yeah,
Oh,
Lamar was there. Um, Fabinho. Like
oh yeah,
lots
yeah,
of
yeah.
like that was Bernardo Silva from Man City. Like that team got picked clean.
Right.
Um, I think that'll happen to Leverkusen. I don't foresee them investing to keep hold of a lot of those names.
Yeah.
Wow, how we're talking about Leverkusen. I haven't mentioned Manchester United once yet.
Yeah, you made it halfway through the podcast without having to say much about them at all.
So should we talk more about my long distance relationship?
Yeah. I have some more improv team names for you.
Oh my God. So I have this great improv team name called Long Distance Relationship.
That
I have
actually that
another
could be a
one.
neat format.
I have another one called Contiguous Non Ambiguous.
The contiguous League A duo. It's where two guys who happen to be from the contiguous United States.
Or two guys that are just sewn together like human centipede style. Sick.
uh,
All right, so Manchester United played this past weekend against Everton. All right, Jeff. So when we do the matches in reverse order, the one thing I think we lose is what is the mood in the air when this match happens. You kind of are missing all the backwards
the
context.
preamble. Yeah.
I'm glad I decided to call you out on air on pod. But like, yes, we beat Everton 2-0, and I'll tell you about that performance, but I kind of almost need to like just give you the we've just lost a bunch of matches in the league. We had gone on a pretty good run, then injuries, then just we just look like a bad team again when we're down to like seven healthy first team players. But we beat Everton 2-0 thanks to Alejandro Garnacho. Was such a threat. He didn't have a goal, but he was brought down, I think, twice in the box.
Mm.
For he did like his dribbling in tight spaces has just continued to improve and improve and improve, and he might be like it's like him or Kobe Minu for like who is the best Kobe Minu for who's the best player on the team right now talent wise. He's legit. So Bruno had a pen, Rashford had a pen, but bro, like it's like Rashford keeps like poking in a goal and then not really doing much else, and then like just kind of sulking until he gets subbed off in the 72nd minute or something. I think he's gone this summer. It's gotta be. It's just like it feels like pre-divorce, like seeing the parents sort of at the breakfast table but not talking.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if this is me like confusing causation and correlation, but like even just seeing like a tabloid story about a nightclub and things like that, it's like it just starts to feel. I mean, some of that stuff I do think is intentional, where it's like, would it really surprise you if the club, you know, leaked a story like that or did less to squash a story like that when they want there to be a divorce? You know what I
Or if
mean?
he or
Or
if he was at a club the night before a match in order to send a middle finger message to the club, right?
yeah, on the
Like
phone
without
with Real Madrid or whatever. Well, I guess for him it'd be like Sevilla at this point, but
the rumor is that he was just pounding tequila until hours before he's meant to be at training the day before a match.
I did read the article at one point. It was like written from the perspective of there was like some girl at the first bar that was like she was like a barmaid, and then he was like, "Oh, do you want to like come out?" And then so she came out, but she had to like surrender her phone so she couldn't have
Right.
pictures. But it was like it sounded like she described like the saddest night, where of like they like went back to this like cool hotel suite, and he was like clearly trying to like get laid, but his girlfriend was like tired, and then they went out, and it was like, oh man, like stars. They're just like us, you know?
But here's the thing. If your whole career that you're paid a third of £1 million a week to
Yeah,
to do like you're not he's not judged on the same factors that you or I would be judged. We could show up to work with a hangover and our bosses would be like, I don't
like,
care,
pound
just
it,
get
bro.
your or get your work done, right? Like
Yeah.
you can do whatever the hell you want. The second you stop delivering,
Sure.
it's DiGiorno. Um, but like Rashford has had by last season he scored 30 goals, I think, in all competitions, and this year I think he's in single digits. So like he's not delivering, and if you're not delivering, I'm not saying you can't go out on a night off. Like
Sure.
they're human beings to your
Makes it
point.
harder.
But to go out on a multi-night Irish bender and then like you're doing it, it's close enough to practice that you are now impacting how you will practice, and you are impacting how your body will be handling that, and then how you'll be performing on the weekend. Like it's It's a shame because like remember I was really close to getting a Rashford tattoo. I was so proud of this kid for like everything he had done with like feeding the children of Britain during the pandemic. Like he
But
had
are
my
you really
respect.
like turning on him? I don't know. Like,
I'm
all,
disappointed. All right, imagine this. You have a sibling who steals your car.
okay,
He'll
Rashford hasn't
steal
done this, but I'm imagining it.
Yeah, no, but I do have a sibling who did this to me. So,
Okay.
not gonna say which one you are, Brielle, but Brielle
Hey,
took my car
don't say
once
her first
without.
name. People will know who it is. Just say her
No,
Simpsons.
it's all fine. Brielle took my car without permission, but I love her. She is. This isn't. We're not litigating Brielle, okay? We're just saying that a sibling will
Mm,
do something like that. Is it the best judgment? No. Do you still love them after they're grounded? Yes. Like
mm.
not while they're grounded, but after they've
Yeah,
done their
during the
time.
grounding, just ground
But
and
I
pound.
I think the United fans largely have like Marcus has had one really good season in the last 4 years, maybe, and it was last season, and
Mm.
everything was going his way. Like he was being supported by the players, like he was being given the ball, play was being run through him. I'm just not seeing the trying. When I think there was during the last match, like he like ran, he just was trying to win the ball back, and he was like tracking back one time, which was noticeable.
Yeah.
The United fans were cheering for him and cheering his name because he tried a little bit.
I remember a lot of United fans cheering when he scored that incredible goal from like 28 yards out the other day against City. That seemed to get a few cheers.
Right, performing does well, but then he
Yeah.
was shit for the next 70 minutes, 60
Was
minutes,
he?
whatever it was. He
Mm.
did nothing. Like he'll score a goal. He's got like great
That
pace.
was
He's
one
got a
of the
great
two
shot.
shots you guys had in that game, if I remember correctly. It was like 35-2 in terms of shots, and you guys like almost squeaked out a draw.
And it was zero shots in the second half. But we'll get to that game in a second. But yeah, man, like beating Everton 2-0 on two goals that were largely manufactured by Garnacho dribbling through the box. Like
Mm.
otherwise Everton might have out XG'd us at Old Trafford, I think. So like
Wow.
it's not good, man. Like every team is cutting through us. We're pretty open. Casemiro's been bad. The defense has changed. We've had 9 different defenses,
Yep.
which is not good. Yeah, I mean, I could just summarize all the problems, but I'd much rather hear you talk about Arsenal slaying Mr. Sheffield 6-0.
Um. Yeah. No. It was a run. There were other teams in that run of games where we were winning games 5-0, 4-0, whatever. Like there were other teams in there that I felt like are pretty good teams and it was surprising to see. Against Sheffield United, I'm shocked that it wasn't more than 6-0. Like it really, if you watch that game at all, it looked like the varsity scrimmaging the JV. Like there's never been a team that needs to be relegated so bad for their own like psychological trauma. Like I mean, Austin Trusty, God bless him. He looked
Does he look like a
he
25-year-old former MLS defender?
yeah, he looked like a 25-year-old former MLS defender. I'll just use that in the metaphor I was thinking about in World War One. That's how you know what I mean. Like it looked like he had just been mustard gassed. Like he was so just completely not able to Mark Saka, basically. Which, to be fair, not that many people. I mean, it's a difficult thing to do. He's a great, but like I've never seen. It's the most lopsided I've ever seen a game look in the first half. If anything, there was a little part of me that's like, how did we only score one goal in the second half? You know what I mean? Like, why are we taking our foot off the accelerator? We gotta be like, as much as you're ahead 5-0 and you can afford to relax. Like, I think the teams that are really good at closing out seasons don't.
Is there any thought to the fact that is it Chris Wilder that's Sheffield United's manager?
I'm trying to remember.
Whoever the hell it is, whoever's stuck with the joy of managing a relegation contender. After you were up 5-0 in the first half, do you think he said at halftime, you fuckers better not let them score ten people back?
And to be fair, they came out against us four at the back, and usually they play five at the back. And so like
Were
the
they trying to
idea that they were
congest the
going,
midfield?
yeah, it was a very strange call, and so, and then they changed that in the second half. So I think, yeah, I think there's probably, I think a lot of it was bad management. Like even Austin Trusty, who I just torched, like he's on an island with a guy that he's not as good as. You know what I mean? So like that is like the definition of a situation you want to prevent as manager. You know?
Do you are you are what was like the idea behind buying him in the first place for Arsenal? Like
Well,
it,
no,
I
it's you know what it is. It's very much like City economics, where like because City has teams all over the world, like Arsenal don't, but we do have the Colorado Rapids, and so he was already in the Kroenke family, and I think there was a bit of like, okay, he's too good for MLS, and he's young enough that like something could be made of him. But he was, I mean, it was weird. He's I think of him as a center back. They had him playing left back against arguably the best right back in the league or right wing in the league. That's tough. So I don't know. I
so
think that
is he
I don't
more
think he's
championship
found his
level?
level.
I
Maybe
mean, is
that is
that
his
was
level.
it Birmingham? Was that where he was on loan?
Yeah, he seemed to do pretty well there. The Blues. I don't know. Maybe that is his level, really. And I mean, to be fair, that's an amazing level. It's just not it's not relevant to Arsenal or United, you know?
Don't you think you and I could kind of get minutes for Birmingham though?
Nope. You maybe. Not me.
That's way too generous. You're just doing this because my long distance relationship might be listening, and you want her to think that I'm good at soccer, right? That's
Yeah. With a penis like that, sure you'll be good.
Wait,
I don't know
are
what a
you the
penis is
guy
like.
from Rocky? Are you Paulie from Rocky? Or what's his name? Mick? Is that his name?
Yeah, it's Mick. Yes, I'm the porn industry Mick.
Save some of that for the sequel, Rocky.
Just like swabbing your balls with Vaseline. Get back in there, kid.
It's called Rocky Hard. Is the name of the instead of Creed? No, I don't want to do that one. So let's
No,
let's
no,
keep
like
going.
I do. So like in that, it would be like he double teams a girl, and it's like him and Apollo Creed, and at the
Jesus.
end, it's like a moral victory that he fucked almost as good as Apollo Creed. Rest in peace to
Wait, so the title of the movie is that two sentences?
that's not the title, that's the premise, dude.
What's the
That's the
what's the
ending.
what's was that just Rocky Hard? That's just the you're
Yeah, yeah.
describing what
But I
happens in
mean
Rocky Hard.
you remember Rocky, right? How he loses at the end, but in a way weren't the real what isn't the real victory, the you know, the trying hards that we met along the way?
The real victory is beating Russia. That's the
That's
only one
two.
that matters. That's
Rocky
four.
Dose, baby.
Is
Or
it four?
four. Four. Yeah, it's sorry. Two, yeah, two is the rematch with Rock.
And Superman 4 is the Quest for Peace, which is the one where he goes up against blonde Nazi evil Superman.
Did you know that Sylvester Stallone's dad tried to write a sequel to Rocky?
I want to ask how that writing process went, but I'm guessing it went
Poorly. Yeah.
real bad.
Just imagine that. Mm.
Imagine all the Rocky, ba dum bum bum ba dum bum. Throw it
Uh,
into the garbage can. All
mm.
right. So Arsenal win for Jeff. Good job. Manchester United snuck a 1-0 against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. I
You think you
think
robbed
that
him?
I don't remember who even scored in this match. Let me check this out. I think this was during work and I had to like watch it out of the corner of my eye. Who scored? Was it Bruno? I knew Bruno would create the winner. It was Bruno Fernandes hit a free kick to score a goal. Oh no, he kicked. It was a Casemiro goal. That's what it was. Bruno played a really nice free kick. Casemiro scored a header. I did not care because of how the previous two matches had gone, which we will get to in a minute. So yeah, that was Schuyler's United roundup in the FA Cup. We won against Nottingham Forest, so we have the chance to play against Liverpool this weekend. So excited for that.
What do you make of that match? Like, do you think there's any chance that it's like a nothing to lose moment for you guys, but
Oh.
Liverpool is in the middle of like, a lot of big fish to fry thing, or
No, I think they're gonna beat us because Salah has just come back after his like 2 months plus AFCON
yeah,
injury, and then he came back and hurt himself, and then was out again. But like now he's fit. Like he had 30 minutes against City. He had 20 minutes the game before. I bet you they'll start him and just sub someone for him late in the second half. Now, I
yeah,
think that they'll beat us 3-1 is what I'll
at
say.
Old Trafford?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
We're really bad. We're really bad.
I
Arsenal.
mean, I guess it's close enough because it's quarterfinals now. Yeah, like, do you think you'll be playing against a strong Liverpool team?
We do not have multiple center backs. We do not have any left back at all. Casemiro has aged 10 years in 10 months. We do not have any right winger except Ahmad, who just took all the Manchester United shit off of his Instagram. Sounds like he doesn't want to be here anymore, or they have told him his future lies elsewhere and he's real mad about it. So he's not going to be playing. So we basically have pissy, bad playing Rashford, Garnacho, who you're either playing in his preferred position instead of Rashford, or on the right where he does all right, does pretty well, but like sucks to play your best player out of position. Bruno has been kind of really bad this season. Uh, Hoyland will be back for this match after 4 matches out, but he's
That's
just
huge.
coming back from injury though, so like I
Yeah.
don't know if he's got
Who knows
90
if he
minutes in
starts?
him
Yeah.
or if he gets hurt at halftime with how things have been going. So like I think Liverpool is much closer to full health, even with like Kelleher in goal for them. Like I think they'll smash us. So Jeff, I was at Joxer Daly's local soccer bar to me. Unfortunately, a Liverpool bar, but I was there with James. We were watching Arsenal versus Brentford, and
Mm.
James coming into this match was full of steam. Again, thought Arsenal second best team on the planet, but like because of all of the big wins, was predicting another big win here. I watched it, Jeff, but why don't you tell us what happened against Brentford?
Tough little game there. Interesting wrinkle because David Raya, our starting keeper, is still technically on loan from Brentford, even though that loan is like it's sort of presumptive buy, but he was not able to play against them. And so that meant Ramsdale is in goal. And there's a little part of me that was happy just to see Ramsdale in goal because he was so great for us last year. And it's like he did the impossible. He went from Sheffield United, came to us, took Peter Cech's spot, and then in a pretty short amount of time, then had someone else usurp him. And it felt a little bit unfair because essentially David Raya was like the prodigal son of our goalkeeping coach. And so there was a little part of me that was like, oh, cool, like he'll be back in. And he had some really nice moments in this game. Like early on, he had like this crazy like Troy Aikman esque pass. It was like 60 yards hurled up the field, and it was like it basically should have been an assist, but Trossard kind of fucked it up. Um, and that is the kind of thing that I think that is why he lost the job, is because he is pretty good at setting up the break from the back, and
Right.
Raya is incredible at it. And we very much value that. I think that he had a pretty shit game over. Well, I mean, it's interesting. 89 and a half minutes of that game, he was great, but he did give up the kind of goal that every goalkeeper has nightmares about, where he was just supposed to be kicking it out from the back, and instead the guy blocked it, it went in the back of the net. And so it became, even though we were up early and it looked like we were sort of dominant, it became a nail biter. In fact, I didn't even get to see the final goal in the game because I had to go off to an improv gig, that was starting like right at when the game would have ended. And so it took a while for me to find out. But in the end, Kai Havertz himself, the man that has been, I don't know, maybe the most doubted and controversial Arsenal player of the season, another
Well, he's
moment for him to be
been
a
he's
hero.
been pretty shit though. Like he's maybe
For the
the
first half
only
of the year, he's
part.
been real bad.
but like overall as a transfer, like I still think you should go back and undo that and get someone for that money, get someone who's like
especially.
much more cohesive with the team. Because
But
he wants
although
to be an Odegaard's.
the team seems to back him, and he doesn't want Odegaard's spot. The whole team has been rejiggered around recently, where now Rice is almost playing in front of Odegaard. So like when we're playing defensively, Rice is playing as a defensive midfielder, but when we're going forward, Rice is scoring more now. Rice is going up, and then I think we're getting more opportunities because Odegaard is sitting deep and playing kind of a Cesc role, where he's like very creative, but creative from the base of the midfield, and he's like just pinging passes. And so Havertz is like we're kind of playing with two false nines now, and Havertz is one of them. And so I don't know, all of it is, it's like a sports, soccer hipster's dream to say all this like bullshit tactics, but I think that maybe we found the way to use him. But it does seem like, if you're following the transfer gossip like we alluded to earlier, it does seem like I think Arteta would love to have the best striker in the world. Like he would love to have an Mbappe or an Osimhen or somebody like that up front, like ready to bang in goals and ready to play in a sort of more typical format. But credit where it's due, he's flexible enough as a manager where he's come up with a way for us to score 35 goals in the last month. So
Right. Results really justify whatever the decision was if you get them.
sure.
So watching that match was crazy because after I saw Ramsdale concede that ridiculous howler to, is it Wissa, the
Yes.
Brentford striker?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Good
Like
memory. Great
he
name.
it was embarrassing, and then James suggested, I'm just sorry, James, you say these things next to a podcast host, it's gonna end up on his podcast.
Wow.
But
It's
James
like
was
the
like,
ghost of this podcast.
that might be the end of Ramsdale at Arsenal because the thought is that like he's too good to be a number two, right?
Yeah,
Like somebody would pay the money to have him as a number one.
sure.
But that Raya had taken his chances and Ramsdale seemingly hadn't taken his, so it's like
Yeah.
either you're happy being a backup for however long or you move on in the summer.
I don't think he
But
is.
then Ramsdale probably saved Arsenal's
Great,
ass that match because
great second half.
Ivan Toney took a shot on the volley from like a 40-yard pass on the volley across his body, and it was destined for like upper 90, and Ramsdale full extension saves, and like that I thought immediately made up for the goal that he conceded. He's at net
Yep.
zero at that point.
Yeah.
But then he
That's a good point.
saved like a couple more like really good chances that I was surprised that Brentford really even able to generate, and like the game that should have been maybe a 4-5-6 nail on paper ended up being like a 2-1 that like I think Ramsdale may be man of the match even with the mess up.
Yeah. Goat and man of the match somehow. But yeah, you're
It's
right.
funny.
Uh,
Yeah, that was
I
it.
do. To be fair to James, I think that there's a real good chance that Ramsdale is going to be off next year anyway. You know what I mean?
Just for money,
He
just
is.
like you buy a
Yeah.
backup
You
that's
know what I
five
mean? Like,
million and
what? How much is? I think we actually spent a decent chunk on him because when he came in, everybody was saying, "What the
30
fuck?" We had
something.
Peter Check.
It
Yeah, well,
was
I,
like
I was
30
gonna say
something,
20, but it
40.
might have been 30. I was gonna say 20, but it was more than people thought a goalkeeper from a relegated team, which is what he was when we bought him, like what we needed to spend. But then obviously he's paid more than enough. He's paid dividends on that, and I don't know. I kind of think that yeah, I think he's really good actually. I'm a little bit scared to see him go to another club and help them, because I think he's like he's probably I wonder. I don't know. I haven't done all the math on this, but I wonder if he's like in my mind, one of the top 5 Premier League goalkeepers. But he just happens to be not the best one on our team right now.
You know what's crazy, Jeff? You're right. It was 28 million.
Mm,
And that might, I don't know if there might be add-ons or something. Maybe because sometimes they quote the
yeah.
add-on price and sometimes they quote the not add-on price,
Right.
or the base price. 28 million for a player like even that was at the level he was at when you got him from, was it
It was
Sheffield
Sheffield.
Wednesday
Yeah, yeah. Sheffield United.
or Sheffield United? Like the same player now 3 years later, 50,
I
45.
was wondering, like, where do you value a goalie like that?
Well,
That
how old is he
seems like
now?
a fair
20,
price.
is he 25?
That sounds about right. Like he's very young, especially in goalkeeper years.
I'm on his page. I should just be able to tell you. All right, yeah, he's 25. I'm good at this. And but guess when his
Wow.
birthday is, Jeff?
Oh, uh, I think he is a Sagittarius.
2 months from today. So
Ah,
at
okay.
first I got real excited because I read the date wrong and thought his birthday was today, and then I guessed his correct age on his birthday, which
That
was
would have been pretty amazing.
it was almost it was, you know what, it wasn't as amazing as his performance against Brentford.
No,
So, I mean, I don't know. I think you could probably get at least what you spent on him because his I think his value's taken a hit by being a backup.
sure.
But I think
And the
there are a
fact that people
lot,
know that we would like to sell. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I see
right.
you have 5 tires there.
35, 40, something in that range. Like that's with
He
the
certainly
the
should pay for himself at this point, right? Yeah.
yes, but that's with the
And we
that's
got a
with the
couple great years out
inflation.
of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's but that is the way to do it, to like squeeze most of the orange juice out of the orange and then sell
Right.
it as like dried orange slices. Like that's your business move.
Yeah.
So I hope you can sell some dried Ramsdale
I
slices.
don't even think they're dried rims. I think he's gonna go off and have a great career somewhere. I'm kind of sad that it's not with us, just because personality wise, he's like so fun.
You know what? You're not allowed to have any fun personality goalkeepers after what you did to Matt Turner. If you discarded him after 1 year. All
Hmm.
right. Did you see the Manchester derby? I feel like we texted about it live.
We did text about that live. I did see quite a bit of it. I was really pulling for you. And I mean, there are sometimes where like one goal is so great that you almost feel like, oh, maybe this is faded. And that Rashford goal was so amazing, but it does
He
seem to be
blasted it.
against the run of play.
Well, it was right in the beginning of the game. There wasn't a
Right.
run of play yet, and then the rest of the game was City going like LOL.
Right.
But it took them a while to score, which in past years of like when this team has been this sort of either injury hit or just this sort of bad as a functional unit, like the cities, the Liverpools, like they've bashed us like almost to an NFL score.
Right.
And the fact that they didn't score, when did they score? Was it right at the end of the first half, or was it right at the beginning of the second half? Might have been the beginning of the second half.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we went. I think we went into halftime one up, and I was
Yeah, no, you're right. You definitely did.
shocked. I was
I
shocked
remember
by
because
that.
I had been like making a move, and the building manager of my apartment building is a massive Arsenal fan, and he saw me and he's like, "You see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." We were pulling for you, bud.
Well, it fucking sucked. It really did. And I don't know, man. I kind of just want to go to sleep and wake up like once Dan Ashworth has started doing things. Like
Hmm.
that's really how it feels. I know we have a few more tabs to get through.
Yeah, but even I don't want to fucking be here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like well, right before that loss against City, we were playing Fulham and thinking, okay, we're down a couple of defenders, we're down a strike, we have no striker, no fit striker, no fit left back. Like it's not
Right.
good to be missing a steering wheel and a tire on your car.
Hmm.
But we're thinking, oh, we're playing against Fulham, we'll beat them. We went up 1-0 and then lost 2-1, and it was like real pathetic. Or wait, or no, we might have gone down 1-0 and then tied it and then lost. But like, dude, when Fulham is beating on you,
That's a tough
you're
one.
yeah, that was the end of like, oh, we might get a Champions League spot, we might get top four. Like that loss ended it. City put the second nail in the coffin. And now at this point, it's like, what are we playing for? Like, I don't think we're gonna win the FA Cup. I don't think we're gonna make fourth place or even fifth place for that matter. So like, am I just watching for maybe like breakout performances from the youngsters? Like that's probably all I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Sorry,
don't
this
know.
became a
I think
sad.
there's a little. It's in an interesting zone. I mean, I think probably the biggest like meta thing to watch is Ten Hag, which I don't know. How do you feel about the development of that? Like, I mean, going down the stretch here, maybe I don't know. Does he save his job? Does he lose his job?
No, I don't think he'll get fired this season at all. Because what would be the point of firing him, paying him the money that they would then owe him for firing him, then paying an interim to come in who you're just going to get rid of in the summer when you then have to pay another club to steal their manager
But for
away?
next season, I mean,
So he might get let go of in the summer. But as of now, what I'm reading is suggesting that spending $10 million to release him from his contract, to then buy out another club's manager, they just don't have the money to do that when they have so many holes on the pitch. So it might just be like get the director of football in, let the director of football start to transition the squad. I mean, who knows? Next year, we might still be bad next year. We might have to like focus on getting rid of some players, getting some money for some players, getting some wages off the books, like creating room in financial fair play. Apparently, they just paid off 130 million of the billion in debt we have right now.
mm.
So thanks, Sir Jim, for doing that. But next year might also be a sunk year, but maybe it's a sunk year where like more youth is coming in and like there's something to build upon and who knows. But yeah, it sucks.
I mean, it's
Everything
crazy how
sucks.
quickly that stuff can change, though. You know what I mean? Where like I mean, last year Arsenal probably should have won the title, and the year before that, David Luiz was starting. You know what I mean? And it's like it's amazing how quickly that can turn, especially when you have an actual plan, which I imagine United does. We'll see what it is.
There are people who will have a plan. They have not been allowed to leave their gardens yet in their gardening leave, which apparently is all
Garden
right.
leave is what it's called. Yeah.
Why don't we have this here where like if my company wants to fire me, it's like fine or not fire me. If I want to go elsewhere, they'll go, "You can't work for the next year and a half. You just need to be paid to hang out." And I'm like, "That's secretly all that I wanted."
Yeah, no, it's amazing. That's one of the best things. I mean, it's also probably one of many things about the economy of the United Kingdom that seems like it's from a different century. But yeah, dude, like I've had friends who are on garden leave. That's the best 6 months of your life.
You're just doing puzzles, watching movies.
It's like unemployment, except without all the bad parts of unemployment. You know what I mean? Like not a single care in the world. Like you have something lined up. It's great.
It's just ploy.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, do you want to preview what is going to be a huge match? Your next match, which is, I don't think, not for another 2 weeks, right? Do
I was gonna say it's like end of the month kind. I think we're heading into the little break here. Um, that's a huge one. I think
you want to say who it is? Because not
it's
everyone
against
that's listening can
Manchester
read.
City, and obviously in a three-way title race, every little there's so many variations of the points that could come out of this game. I think probably the team with the biggest expectations for it is Liverpool, but I don't know. I mean, there's already Kyle Walker has like said things in the press of like, like yada yada Arsenal, like until they come to the Etihad. What does it mean? I do think it's like it's a game that people probably expect us with good reason to lose, but there's a chance, right? And it's such a like it's kind of an amazing opportunity. Like it's like I think we've like talked about this like in the lingo of the pod before, but like this is this is a fight against your sister, except in this case we're the sister. Where it's like if Manchester City beats us up, people are like, yeah, fine, like okay, like it was an away game. It's Manchester City, fine. Whereas we have the chance to win. So it's like, while nobody would be impressed with them if they win, if we win, or even if we draw, I think like there's a certain amount of respect that comes with that. Huge, it could be a huge momentum shift in the season. So I don't know, just numerically, I don't know. It probably
Dude,
technically means less than it did last year. Like last year, if we won that game at City, suddenly like the betting lines were like insane for like that if then situation. This year, it's still wide open. Like no matter what happens there, it's anybody's league.
if you want to win the league this year, you have got to win this game. If you
You
do
don't think
not
it draws
win,
enough?
no, if you draw, Liverpool's going to win the league this year. It's like the margins are that fine, and most of these teams could just pretty much win out. So like
They won't though.
three, they won't, but they could. Liverpool could win 10 games on the trot.
Maybe. Especially the interesting thing with them is like how much stronger are they going to be after this international break? Because they've been hanging on with a team that's missing like a lot of guys. You know that when we beat them 3-1, I think they had 10 guys out. Granted, not all those 10 guys are starters, but it's like they were decimated. You know,
they almost had as bad of injury record as my team does. But yeah, they're gonna get Allison back, who I think is gonna be sturdy for them for the rest of the season once he's healthy. Like,
yeah.
are they missing? They're not missing Van Dyke. They have their striker. Like, I think they're now that they got Salah back, I think they're gonna be just okay. Gravenberch isn't out that long. Um, but dude, I think you back to your match. I think you've got to win this. It's a statement of intent. Beating Liverpool in that match was huge. To also beat City would suggest that you can do it this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we win it, then I think suddenly we do become massive favorites because like, but at the same time, it's still gonna be like as
But one of City,
counterintuitive and anticlimactic as it is. The league is decided by the teams that win away at Stoke on a Tuesday night. And I know they're not in the Premier League this year, but it's like it's those. So it's like there's about 10 games left, right? So
but all right, I you'd have to believe that one of City no, so not one of both of City and or Liverpool won't get near maximum points for the rest of the games, and I just don't see that happening. I don't see either of them going into even a mini slump. So like, could you do it? Yes, but you need a 3 point head start right now, and getting it on City while they get nothing. That is a true 6 pointer.
that would be huge. That would
But
be
I
huge.
think you need it to win the league. I think if you don't, it would take some weird calamities that we're not
If
able to
they don't, then
foresee.
suddenly we have to be perfect, basically, and that's the only chance.
Well, if you got a draw, that's 1 point. Then you'd be 2 points. 2 points over City, or 1 point over
I think
City
we'd be
on goal
1 point
difference.
over City and 2 points behind Liverpool if that happened.
But then
Assuming they win,
Liverpool, yeah, but Liverpool,
they're gonna win.
yeah. So like, I think at that point, now you're chasing again, and there's not a lot of
Sure.
time left. You really want your nose in front as soon as possible. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to make you feel bad. I'm saying it's a
No,
big match. It's a big
it
match,
is.
and if you win it, it's huge. Like, just win it, Jeff. Just do that.
I will do my best. I will be. Let's see. Let's see what the odds are saying now for that match.
Then, while you're looking that up, last topic for the day before we sign off. Ta-na-na-na-na, meet the Sockers in London. Meet the Sockers governor.
Union. I don't know what that was.
Mixtape
Meow meow meow.
remix.
51% Man City win probability, 25% draw, 24% Arsenal. I still think, just realistically, a draw, we're still in it. You know what I mean? Because a draw away at the Etihad is a pretty because ultimately that means in the long run of the season, we took 4 points off them and they took 1 point off us. You know what I mean? Like that is, frankly, with a team as good as them, that's pretty good. I do also think it would be better to win, but that's just my controversial mathematical opinion that 3 points is better than 1. But
Sure. End of topic. Over.
yeah,
Arsenal won the league. It's been
I
decided.
decided.
All right, Jeff.
Boom.
1 month.
I'm very excited to
1 month
see
from this Sunday. How much older are your kids at this point? I'm gonna show up. They're gonna be driving
like 6 months
themselves to
older,
school.
actually.
Any new devs? Any new updates? Or any big plans that you want to share for us to the audience?
Well, we are going to head up to Old Trafford, and we're
Like,
going to see another Newcastle Manchester United matchup.
unless what happens? Let's actually put this scenario out into the ether.
Oh, unless unless you win against Liverpool
Or
or
Newcastle beats
Newcastle wins.
City.
Yeah. So 2 long shots, but totally possible.
But right, either one of them happens, and then suddenly. So here's the thing. I of course have to cheer for United against Liverpool. Not have to. It's like one of the core joys of being a United fan is the chance of like rubbing it in their smug faces. But like
Right.
to do so would be not only to sabotage the chance to go watch live football when I'm in the UK. We've also spent money on this shit already.
Yeah. I think that we could still pull it off though, because you'd be playing somewhere, something, and we would just buy tickets to that, and I would sell
But
the tickets that we have.
we
And
bought train tickets to Manchester.
true.
Wait, so you're saying if the FA Cup match is still in Manchester, but isn't it much harder to get FA Cup than it is to get regular season?
No.
Isn't it just like
Actually,
a
if anything,
random
it's probably a
draw?
little easier.
But on the resale market then.
Oh yeah, they would all be on the
Okay.
resale. I mean, yeah,
So
very
you're saying no
illegal.
matter what, we'll figure out a thing.
Yeah, we will. Actually, and I interestingly, so I use this like train line app, which if you're ever in the UK and need to book train tickets, this is not a paid advertisement, but I will say like they always have the best deals on there. And so I thought that I had like the best deal going, and then you get to like the last page, and they'll be like, actually, we found this other even better deal for what you wanted. And so the train tickets that we have, interestingly enough, they cost less money and are good. We can use them anytime over like the month. So like we can use them that day, or we could just like audible and without having to tell anyone, we could spend the night in Manchester and go back. Or like the other great thing with it is like depending on how like maybe your fixture becomes a Tuesday night fixture instead of a weekend fixture, and our train tickets are still good.
And that would
So
mean we would just shift the travel days too, because we
yeah,
could go whenever. Okay,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I'm glad I
so that's
learned
nice.
that on the pod.
Wanted to get your real reaction, which is oh cool.
You're learning about football. You're learning about comedy groups and how they're made and
Yeah.
how the sausage is made. You are learning about travel tips. You are learning about keeping a long distance relationship fresh. You're learning about radical honesty. You're learning about just meeting beautiful people in this world
Meeting the Sockers.
and meeting the Sockers, Jeff. And I was about to say, there's nobody more beautiful than you, except for the person I'm
Oh,
dating. And you're just a king
what?
amongst men.
Fucking simp? No. Just kidding.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
You're a
But
king amongst men. You fucking simp. Thank you. You're
that's
a
how
king
this
amongst
goes.
men.
You know, you are a LeBron amongst gym class
James
Schylers.
is.
Listen, James had 3 to 5 real bad hot takes this month, but he is a king amongst men as well.
Oh, but he's
There's
no
a lot
King
of
James.
kings. There's too many
Wow.
kings in the kitchen.
A lot of kings. A lot of kings in the kitchen. They're really not useful in the kitchen at all. That's not their job.
Goodbye, Jeff.
Goodbye.
Me